Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Tonight, Jenna, Pamela, and I are talking about the challenge, Battle for a New Champion, Season 39, Episode 17, my God. And the episode title is Feel the Burn.
I can't believe we made it to episode 17. 17? It just feels like at this point, it's almost like this sounds messed up because it's a television show, but it's almost like a work week. Like it just never ends. You just have to do it every week. It's just like it's a part of your life now. It's just this season is perpetual. It's just never ending.
Hey, Jenna, I told Pamela this last week, but All-Star Season 4 looks like it might come out right after this season's over.
All right. Well,
I don't mind.
I wouldn't mind like a couple weeks off, but I think it's going to go right into it. So, yeah.
I just feel like with what Jenna just said, like the weekend, it's like, and the final would be the weekend. And it's like, when is it even in sight? Like, when is the weekend? Like, we still don't even know exactly.
Well, we saw the tease that it looks like the final starts next.
Didn't watch the tease. Okay, so it starts next week.
It does. Yes.
Yeah, because they're not hiding anything. They showed like Nerys is in this thing, Emmanuel's in this thing. Like they showed them all in the final, like carrying large amounts of rope. So like they're not hiding it. I think at this point, it looked like TJ did at the end of this episode. Does TJ like come into where they're all hanging out? Like they're all like partying.
Oh, it does. It's just like TJ from behind.
I think he's about to announce it. Yes,
I love the horror movie like follow along shot where it's just TJ from the back.
Like whose point of monster POV of like TJ walking into the club. Arr.
So it looks like next week the final's going to start, and then if it's a two-parter, then that puts you at 18, 19, and then maybe a reunion at 20. So 20 episodes. I don't know.
Can I tell you something messed up? This season, where we are at right now at episode 17, is longer than my maternity leave. So there's that. 17 weeks, yeah.
That is messed up. I thought it was 21 weeks in 28 weeks. I thought it was 3 months.
I mean, I think it's different everywhere, but
mandatory, I thought like minimum was 3 months.
I got it through the state, so it's 12 weeks, but it's just, that's the way I'm thinking about it. Like 17 weeks. Wow. That's such a long time. How long is that in months? And the only way for me to kind of do that math was to relate it to what I currently have going on.
Right.
I know how long my maternity leave is. And you know what? This season is longer than that.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
They're really dragging it out just to purge everybody off.
Speaking of leaving, by the way, we had 3 people leave the show tonight.
Nice segue.
Transmission. Yeah.
With that said, we got to start from the top because Nerys sent home 2 people last week, and she comes back in the house and she tells everyone to bam, 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 F off. And I'm loving every second of it. Jenna, Pamela, and I talked about it last week. There's nobody likable on this season anymore. We lost everybody except for Nerys at this point. But please, Jenna, tell me if there's anyone else you like, because we could not come up with an answer at this point.
No, I completely agree with you. It's like Nerys or die, basically.
And like, look what happened in this episode. Oh my God. Like, thank goodness she came back again.
Thank God. Yes. Sorry. I'm like, between this and The Bachelor, I've had a screaming at the TV week of like frustration, where Luke's like, calm down, like, seriously, what's up? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to talk about Tim, like, when he watches football. I'm like, this is my sport. I was like, what the fuck? This was so frustrating. And boy, thank God for Nerys, because what a bunch of left.
Also, Dan, I agree with you. I was loving the fact that she came in and she was basically like, screw all of you, and I'm back. And I thought she did it so gracefully too. Like she wasn't even that obnoxious about it, because you have that confessional from Emmanuel that's like, I don't know why she's, you know what, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what.
No, that was Emmanuel. I wanted to punch in the face.
Yeah, he was being sore about it. And
it's overkill.
It's overkill. I don't know why you're so happy. Like, we didn't even try that hard to get you out.
That's what he says, Jenna. Yes. I wrote down something about him. Emmanuel, you haven't done anything all season.
Yeah.
Shut up. Of course you didn't try that hard. You haven't done anything, Emmanuel. I don't want to hear you talk.
You haven't tried hard at anything.
Yeah. He's the worst.
And that's actually crazy too. From what we're seeing, again, this is all edited. In the situations where we see him being friends with people like Jay, Jay and Michelle, who have been kind of, the biggest voices in their alliances and the ones leading the ship, eye roll, I know. But even in those conversations, Emmanuel is still like somewhat of a wallflower. Like, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He seems super likable. He seems funny and quirky, whatever, but he's not doing anything. Like, he's not even contributing to like, oh, here's a really good strategy. Oh, here's what we should think about. He just sits there.
Emmanuel, this is exactly what he said. I just remembered. He said it was overkill for her to be that way. And I was like, overkill. Like
I know.
Like overkill. She just came back from a fucking final she shouldn't have been in. She sent home her boyfriend and another person, and like she's been betrayed by everyone she trusted. What do you mean it's fucking overkill? Like it's underkill. Everything in me was like, wow, Nerys. If I were Nerys, she was doing a good job, especially during that fight with Jay, of like not losing her mind. Like I just feel like I'd be losing my mind and like, just a crazy person that made no sense. And she was like staying logical and like being pissed, but like keeping on message. And I was like underkill. Like she kept pretty cool.
Speaking of overkill, though, I got so many great segues right now. Emmanuel again tonight mentions that he's giving the money to his mother.
His mom, we want
How
to
many
retire.
times do I have to hear about this? I'm so freaking sick of it. Have a drink every time Emmanuel mentions his mother. But like Pamela, we mentioned it. He has no other thing to contribute to the season besides every time there's a confessional, he talks about he's giving the money to his mom. And then Corey even talked about how he's going to give the money to his family. We get it. Everyone and they're all doing it for their family. We know.
Yes.
I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm sick of it.
And I wrote like everybody wants to help the people they love with the money. Like we get it. But Emmanuel, I keep bringing up the mom because it's funny. He's like, I want to retire her. And I picture like, I'm still in the sewing still for Emmanuel so I can pay the bills. And she's like 35 years old. She's like, hey, she's like hot. It's like his mom is like, well, I don't know. It's funny.
Saw that video. She's pretty much right in the middle. She's not like in a nursing home, but she's also
but it's not like my poor mother cannot retire. Like I'm imagining a European with like fingers to the bone. Like she's just like, I'm still sewing and like in the struggle for my Emmanuel to get more tattoos. But it's like, she's like a young blonde. I'm like, okay, you don't need to retire. She should be working. She's able-bodied. Like she doesn't need to be retired. She's not an old lady.
We're like 4 minutes into this and Pam is already just killing me in all directions. Also like saying everything I'm thinking. Although I wasn't thinking about Emmanuel's mom being a senior citizen. That was
well, that's where when she comes on, she's like, hey, like she's like my age or younger. And he's like, oh, mommy, I need to retire you. It's like, my dad is still working because like you get old when you stop working. Like, and my dad's 76. Like, you don't need to retire your mother. She should be working. She needs to have something to do.
But to both of your points, I really wish they would stop asking that question. Every time these cast members have something to say, it's because they're prompted to say something. They're asked a question. I just wish they would stop saying, who are you playing this game for? And then showing the answer, because it's all their family. Like
Jenna, what they've realized is
kid, it's someone's grandma, it's someone's best friend. It's always for someone.
The problem is, Jenna, these cast members don't bring us anything entertaining. Majority of them don't. They need something to show why we should like them. And so that's what we're left with. Like Nerys is bringing it this season. She gives us attitude. She gives us they're performing well. What is Emmanuel? What is Colleen? Even like Corey tried to bring us something at the beginning, but like none of it's interesting. That's all they have left. It's a sword that they're falling on at this point. It's like, let's give them some type of backstory to see if people give a crap. We don't give a crap. All right.
Don't give a crap.
Let them be messy, let them have fun, but at the same time, they don't want to be messy and have fun because they don't want to get canceled. It's a whole thing. It's kind of ruining reality TV, this whole...
It is. The whole thing is. And Nerys is also the only one willing to play her own game. And we'll get into that later.
Oh, by the way, ladies, did you hear what Nerys said about what happened last week to Horacio during the Daily Challenge? Did you hear what she said on social media? Most men and women, most challengers, they won't come out and say stuff like that because they're afraid of not getting asked back. But the fact that Nerys came on and said that a good conspiracy, I love my conspiracies, that actually Horacio actually won and beat Jay in that rope thing that you can actually, she showed footage that the rope is much shorter on Horacio's than it was on Jay's, and they just gave Jay the win because producers are manipulating the game. Holy crap, big conspiracy that could be true. Just saying.
It was fastest though, in addition to, I don't know. I did read it and it didn't entirely make
Either way,
sense.
then people were writing like, oh, I guess Nerys isn't going to be asked back again because she's saying these things. But hey, you know what? Props to her if she is right in coming out with like the truth about how producers are manipulating the game, because I think it's BS. Yeah. I hate that stuff.
Especially if it's like an outright cheat. It's one thing with the controversy with that finale that no one could do. I don't remember, but when
it was like the Challenge USA.
Yeah, you know, not that one. It was like the spin-off, the All Stars, and it was like
that one with
Oh, Janae.
Yeah, Janae.
Yes, Janae and
controversy, but it was like controversy. She's like, they cheated. Jay did not win. So that's you know.
And like my whole thing with that is though, like, why would producers not want Horacio to win? That would have totally put the house up on its end, and that's really good stuff for us to see. That's a great payoff.
That could have changed the game so much if Horacio won, except for Jay. It was like the worst thing for the fans to see that Jay won. No one was rooting for that, and the house pretty much stayed the same. You know, in terms of people just following what Jay wanted and being kind of his little minions and doing his dirty work, and it just like continued. The same kind of dynamic and alliances continued instead of Horacio winning and it finally like shaking up the house a little bit.
The one thing I want to say to like encapsulate all this and just how horrible Jay is without spoiling is that, you know, we'll go into what Jay does, but he's like talking about loyalty and he's going to be going to the final, I guess, if that's the weekend is next week, with no one that was in his original, like that's what it's like, loyalty and the people that ride with me, and it's like nobody that you came into this game with is with you at the end, you asshole.
Well, so his like his main people, you're right, because the thing about Jay is like he has loyalty and an alliance with everyone. It's like a friend to all is a friend to none. So that kind of is what happens with Jay and Nerys tonight too. It's like Jay is so quick, like he's just ever changing his alliance for what's convenient that day in the game and then trying to twist it as if like other people weren't loyal to him. It's like, but you're so quote unquote loyal to every single person. It's like very hypocritical for then you to expect every single person to play your game when you're trying to, you don't
also, it's like you don't have that much control, Jay. You can't bring people to the final. Michelle, Nerys, Olivia, Raven, like all the like main people that he came in with, Asaf, his brother, like none of them are there. So it's like, just shut up, Jay.
Well, I wonder if he's gonna, do you think he's gonna look back on this? Maybe he'll say something at the reunion about it. Like maybe he's gonna say, oh, it was a bad edit, or is he gonna realize like how much of a jerk he came off this season? I hope he recognizes it at the reunion. We don't know. Obviously we'll find out, but like, I hope he realizes like, dude, do you realize what you did this season and why nobody liked you this season? Why no one wants to see you back? Is there anyone that was like, I want to see Jay next season? I love this guy this season. He was so good.
But the thing that horrifies me most about Jay and makes him an asshole is that I think he really believes he's like, well, sorry, Nerys, like when he was upset, well, let's just, I don't want to.
Well, hold on. I have kind of an answer to Dan's question of, do you think he watches his back and, you know, well, what exactly did you say, Dan?
He realizes what a jerk, how he came off.
What a jerk he is. Poorly. Okay, that's what you said. Because I went on Reddit and somebody posted a screenshot of Jay's Instagram live and their comment that they left on the live, and what she said to him was, are you embarrassed by the way you talk to people on the show? And he read it on the live and he said, no, he wasn't embarrassed because that's the same way he talks to people in real life. So that's just.
I'm right. He thinks Nerys did him wrong.
But wait, I'm confused by Jay though, because in the seasons we saw him in the past, we always liked him. Hell, we had him on our show and we geeked out on how much we were all such big challenge fans. He didn't come off that way. So I think he's just digging into this character that he's starting to create now. I don't really think he's buying his own bullshit. I think he's just saying it to say it.
I think thinning hair.
What happened to him then, Pamela? What happened to him? Because he wasn't like this in his original seasons.
He lost his hair and he lost his heart. His heart was tied to his hair. And when it receded, so did his heart, like the Grinch. It just went.
Now we're
got
just hair
smaller
shaming
and
is what we're
smaller.
doing
Now
now.
we're body
Well,
shaming.
I am, because I think now he's like realizing he was like a hot, cute dude, and now it's like, eek, Jay. Like it's now he's like kind of embarrassing, and it's like
I think it's the underdog / hero
bad.
to villain pipeline. You know what I mean? How they say like you either die a hero or you live long enough to be a villain. Like that's kind of what happened. We all liked him when he was just the underdog who went in and fought for himself, elimination after elimination, and like, you know, you always root for that person, but then he got too high for his own horses, and you know, he got his little power trip, and now he's just like spiraling in the worst way, like being so power hungry, being so like victimizing himself, trying to say like woe is me and everyone owes me something. It just is such a bad look.
Has he forgotten that he set up the plan to be like, and then Nerys is gonna have to pick between her
Yeah.
best friend and her boyfriend? Like that is even
Yeah.
Corey, I think, was like, I mean, it feels kind of evil, but whatever. I'm safe, which I get. But how does Jay not think that was, how does her not doing exactly what he said, that's her turning against him and
Yeah.
being bad, but him
Literally,
actually turning against her and being bad is like, well, you
yeah.
should, what do you, why should he take any accountability for that? It's mind-boggling, and that's why I was screaming at the TV. And it also, it's like, this is what makes the world go round and why people disagree. Like we are all watching the same. Jay, I do think buys his own. I believe he believes his own shit.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's next level, honestly.
He's grasping at straws to try to come up with some sort of deception as to why he's saying Nerys's name. You know, it has to be her fault. It has to be something that she's doing. Like that's what's annoying about him is if you say that you're playing a game and this is just a game at the end of the day and it's not emotionally driven, then stop having so much emotion in the game. Stop trying to have your cake and eat it too. Like if you keep saying Nerys is your best friend, you're trying to protect her, but you're literally hatching all these plans to go against her. Like if you're going to be the villain, just be the villain.
That's what
But
I like, as the kids
like,
say it with your chest, Jay. If you're gonna be like,
that's the thing
I'm
is like,
fucking you over because you picked
yeah.
you're my enemy of my, the friend of my enemy is my enemy. So I'm putting you in because I wanted
I love that we're hitting all of like the analogies. I'm like, we're grasping at straws. The hero becomes the
enemy of an enemy.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend. But really, it's annoying because it's like you can't get the house to like, you can't hatch a plan against Nerys and then be like, I wanted to save you, Nerys, putting on this theatrical front and then trying to say like, I'm going to save Nerys. Of course I'm going to save Nerys. I'm not saving Nerys. Like, it's just so whiplash of like, do you even know what you're doing at this point?
He's crazy. He's crazy. And again, conspiracy theory. I don't know if he's in love with Nerys and was jealous of Horacio, which caused the whole thing, or what, but like that was some bizarro personal vendetta shit, like making her choose between her best friend and her, like that's weird and evil and targeted and poignant, and like her not doing exactly what he says isn't. It's so crazy.
He's butthurt because someone didn't want to go along with exactly what he wanted to go along with. And that's crazy talk right there.
Also, Emmanuel, Jay tried to get you in real hard, remember? Like, I don't understand how, I guess he was trying more to get Ed in, but who were both in his alliance. I don't understand how Jay is getting away with any of this shit.
Obviously, eluding elimination is a good social game, but at this point, everyone is just playing a scared game. They're just trying to go with everything. Like Emmanuel, exactly to your point, Pam, instead of saying like, you know what, Jay was, I'm low. Like I could go into elimination without Jay saving me. So maybe I shouldn't be working so closely with him. Maybe I should go against him. It's like he would rather avoid elimination at all costs, which I understand, but it's not good for viewership. It's not good. It's not like why we watch the challenge, Now everybody is so scared to go into elimination that they'll just fall in line, do exactly what the leader of the season says, and they'll just play a follower game.
Lame.
Well, speaking of a follower game, we do need to talk about Olivia and Nerys this episode. We talked about it last week, Jenna, what Olivia did to Nerys by not, saving her and all that stuff. But coming back into this episode, because now Nerys comes back in the house, Olivia's telling Nerys that there was no plan. It was a split-second decision that she made, which we know is false because we saw the footage of her talking it over with Jay and Michelle who knows, maybe an hour before, we don't know, but it wasn't a split-second decision. You agreed with Michelle and Jay to go along with this, blah, blah, blah. And now she's spouting lies to Nurys. Michelle also goes and comforts Olivia at one point, saying like, there was no way around it and all this stuff. Which is like, that's not true. She literally could have saved Nurys. I don't know what Michelle's talking about in that regard, but like, we need to talk about it. And now the best part is if Olivia, that's the craziest part. If Olivia had chosen Nurys last episode, then she would have been more safe than she was in this episode. She went right back in from those same people that she was trying to help, thinking that that would help her game longer. It didn't work at all. And then Olivia goes. So everything backfired. She became like a somewhat of a favorite, like as far as like people liked her. Who likes her? Who wants to see her back again? No one wants to see.
I was going to ask you guys after the last 2 episodes, who's worse, Jay or Olivia? Because Olivia has looked really terrible the last 2 episodes because she's doing the same thing as Jay, where it's like she was feeling such immense guilt, right? When Kylan came back and Kylan didn't say that Horacio was with him. Kylan acted as if he was the sole winner of that elimination. And Olivia is now pouring out all of these tears of guilt that she has. Like, it was my fault that he didn't get to succeed in the final last year because of me. Now it's my fault that Nurys saved me because Horacio told Nurys to save me. So now Horacio is going home again. Like, I did it again. I sent home my friend. And basically, by not saving Nurys the week previous to this episode, she did it again. By not saving Nurys, you also didn't save Horacio. Like, had you had just said Nurys' name, she would have said Horacio, who would have said Kylan. You would have saved your whole new core team. So you're just doing the same thing that you're emotional about. So the remorse is just feels faulty. And also, exactly to your point, Dan, this all could have been somewhat forgiven because it's still a game. And, so Olivia was approached and she was like, listen, if you say Mariah, you will be saved. So you kind of, you might take the bait if you're in a game in that situation. You might say, shit, I have to make this gameplay to save myself. So it could have been maybe forgivable. But it all just like she loses all of that value when she outright lies. Like what you said, she completely lied to Nurys' face and said there was never a plan. There was absolutely 110% a plan.
Jenna, you're so right about like what a sliding doors episode. Like if you did the right thing, Nurys, like you dug your own grave. If you not Nurys, Olivia.
Yeah.
If you did the right thing to begin with, like everything, the domino effect would have all been in your favor. Like it's just such a bummer. And second, well, to answer the original question, I definitely think Jay is worse because I think he's delusional. I think Olivia, okay, so this is my not an Olivia defender at all. Like I hated her last week, but this, I wonder if that's a bit of weird editing. The whole, it wasn't a plan. Maybe they cut off her saying before 5 minutes before we had the plan. Like because it didn't make her look good. Like lying about that. If she said I was in survival mode, I like did the coward's way and sacrificed you to get myself another week. She sort of admitted all that, which only makes sense if she says they offered me do this and we'll keep you, the 80. I think that Olivia, I don't think she's a delusional shit person. I think she understands when she was like, I just have to take it on the chin. Like there's nothing I can do right now. I think she messed up big time and she's going to be paying for that for a really long time. And it sucks, but I don't think she's like a horrible person. And I think Jay is like delusional and thinks he's a good person and thinks that Nurys deserves this, and that she did it to herself, where I feel like Olivia's like, I really fucked up. I'm a bad friend. I shouldn't have done this. I feel horrible, which is normal human like response to fucking up. Like people do fuck up and like I get it. But
I think if I was Nurys, I would want to know that you were kind of strong-armed or offered an agreement.
Right.
That's why you did it.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't you think it's
better to say, oh, I just decided that on the spot to like say,
yes, isn't that worse to say? Like if I'm Nurys, it's like, wait. You just thought of it and pulled it out of thin air when the week before I saved you. Wouldn't I be like fresh in your mind? Why would you pick Mariah instead of me if you're not thinking? I should have been your default. I should have been your thoughtless save, not Mariah.
Also, how did Mariah and it's just funny, like Mariah and James, obviously we aren't there for a lot of the gaming discussions, but it's like, who gives a fuck? Why not Jay pick Nerys over Mariah? Why you, oh, Mariah then? Like, why? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I don't know. All of it is bizarro.
You know,
but I feel like that was weird editing because that doesn't make any sense for her to tell Nerys.
But even if it's 5 minutes in advance, though, Pamela, that was not to me, that's not a split-second decision. A split-second decision is you have no idea what you're going to do, and then all of a sudden you just make the opposite decision. She had 5 minutes, even if that was 5 minutes ahead of time, that's still plenty of time to decide.
Right before I was given an ultimatum.
Split second just seems so much whatever. But anyways, let's move forward here. We have a lot to cover. I loved this next part, and I wish it actually happened, but it did not come to fruition. Was the girls were like, why don't we get all the guys to go down there? There's technically only one winner, blah, blah, blah. Why not give ourselves, they understand how this works, right? The guys in theory have a better chance to win a final than the girls do, just because I do think that they are a little maybe stronger. They have better endurance, et cetera, for who's left. I'm sorry, but like if I have Horacio running a final and Olivia running a final, I'm pretty sure Horacio can run for 800 days and Olivia cannot. So like, it's a great idea to try to get these guys out of there, but they didn't go through with it, blah, blah, blah. But I would have loved it. So we should talk about that briefly before we get into the daily challenge with the whole feel the burn.
Yes, fucking Nerys coming back and being like, fuck Jay. I don't think she knew, and I wish Olivia explained that this was basically Michelle's plan. Jay was involved, but Michelle was the one that was like, save. Ugh, I don't even know that put Nerys in that position. I don't know. It's all so stupid, but I agree with Nerys, who was willing to like put all her shit aside for a second and was like, fuck this. I want to win at this point. Like now I know I can win.
Isn't that the smart move, right? Like,
yes,
why?
Exactly.
Like, and TJ mentioned it during selection tonight, which I thought was so interesting. He's like, all right, Berna, so whoever you pick right now, you believe you can beat in a final, because like that's a smart move, right? Pick weaker players each time so that all the strong people have to go into that elimination. You get rid of them. That is the spot. But people just don't get it.
Yeah, I think everybody is blinded by these, like, again, air quotes, loyalties that they have in the game.
At this point, there should be no loyalties. Like, cut them at this point. Like, I don't care. I'm taking whoever I think I can beat in a final. I'm not going to take the strongest person, even though they're my best friend. Like, and honestly, these loyalties, like, I think there's a difference between like people having loyalties versus having really. If my best friend's on the show, I get it. I'll take my best friend.
Right.
But these loyalties, like. Olivia brought it up in like some podcast she did. She said, and Pamela, I don't know if you knew this ahead of time, but you called it. Their management team put them together for Ride or Dies, Horacio and Olivia. They were never Ride or Dies. It's garbage. Yeah. They lied to us.
Of course they did. Do you think Mariah and what's his name, Fessy, are really good friends?
But that's my point, though. Like these loyalties you're trying to bring along with you, like you're not best friends. They'll get over it. Throw them $500 if you win and move on, or whatever you want to give them. Like,
I
win
get
the damn game.
Through that, as much as I hate what Olivia did to Nerys, and again, I think the poor girl will be paying for it forever, for as long as people remember. I feel like up until now, I got her. I think going through that with someone, you become close. Like even Horacio said they are real or were or whatever.
Well, because of the show, though, not beforehand.
Because of the show. No, they weren't. They did not know each other. Their management said, you should both be on this show. Pretend to be Ride or Dies. And they said, cool.
Yeah, we want to try to win money together. Yeah, sure, we'll be Ride or Dies.
Sure. And I do think you get close during that. And I do think that she cared about him and he was her challenge bestie, because she was only on one season. All these people met 1 year ago. None of them had any relationship before it. But Nerys is the I feel like Cam handed her queen crown and put it on top of Nerys's head, and Nerys is just rising above everything and having good ideas. And with real friends, it's like, all right, either I think I can beat you, or you know, we're Corey and Nelly, and I want you to win $1 million as much as I want me to win $1 million. So I'll bring you with me. But it's like, Berna, do you really want Jay? Do you guys want Jay to take your money? Do you think about it?
Right.
Like, why is Jay?
I think they do. They're like all obsessed with Jay. They want to do everything for Jay. Everybody loves Jay.
How is he like? That's what I'm wondering. Like, what are we missing?
Yeah.
What is like Jay doing that's so charismatic? Because he just seems like a yucky elfin bitch to me. Not at all appealing, but like everybody's just like, well, what would please Jay most? Like
Yeah.
Berna picks Jay, I think, before her real ride or die.
Oh, hi,
Well,
Olivia. Not challenge Olivia.
yes, good.
She needs
Olivia, is she okay?
yeah, she's crying.
That head of hair is amazing. Oh
Got a good
my
head of hair.
gosh. Oh my God, it's such a good head of hair.
Oh my God.
But what's so sad about Neresa's plan? She comes back and she's just like, forget all of this. Let's try to force an all-female final. It's so sad because it's such a great idea, but it's too late for it. Like it's too late because
Yeah.
all of the women weren't on the same page or the same alliance since the beginning of the show, that now the alliances are too deep in other parts of the house where like, yeah, Berna's not gonna drop everybody that she was with for Nerys because they have never been that close in the house, you know? So it's like
Right.
too late to effort that. So it's sad because I wish it could have happened, and it almost makes it just look like embarrassing, you know, because it's like she, you know, it catches fire for a little bit and it looks like, oh, like, yeah, let's get this all girls final, let's do it, and then that dies in like half an
Amazing.
episode. It's just like
Amazing and smart, like,
second
as
it
Dan was
starts.
saying. Yeah, I feel like none of them are. I just, unfortunately, I agree with Dan. Like it's kind of, it's kind of. I feel like an all-girl final, a girl would have a much better chance of winning. Put it that way.
What girl? Yeah, so that's the question: is what girl could beat the guys that are left are Emmanuel, Jay, and Corey, right? So what girls that are left have a chance to beat them? I mean, I want Nerys to win, obviously. And I didn't realize she was that good at puzzles. Maybe it's her competition just sucks at puzzles, but like, I don't think Horacio and Kylan's not a slouch. That dude's smart as hell. And then, you know, I thought Olivia would be okay at it. So she's beating big time competitors at all these damn puzzles. And a lot of the times these finals come down to puzzles. Yes, I know they do. I know.
She said, she was like, I was just what the athletes call in the zone. She's like, I was seeing it colors. Like I loved, Nerys was just really such a great.
Is really smart and good at puzzles, and that's a big strength for her as a competitor. You know, that's definitely one of her skills. And I'm so glad that she came back in both of these eliminations. But thinking about the elimination, I do feel like it's so puzzle heavy. You know, the last two. Now that they're doing this like 3-person competing in one, it's like all puzzles. You know,
now that it's like safety first, right? Like there's not a lot of head to head.
They're not competing against each other physically at all. Like you have to be good at puzzles. It used to be versatile. They're
and
trying
the other thing is though,
like,
Jenna, the thing is that when they do guys versus girls like that, to not have like some type of equalizer, if it's going to be something like more physical or something more whatever, they kind of have it be puzzles. Like even at the beginning of the elimination when they have to jump over those like blocks, like obviously James finished before the others, you know what I mean? So like how much more of that can they do before it's like, well, now the girls have to catch up to do the puzzle. So no, they have to keep it as close as possible. I think it's more of an equalizer thing. They're like, well, what are we going to come up with an equalizer? Remember that season that was all equalizers? I talked to Pam about it. Like they had to come up. It's kind of a pain in the ass to do it. So
they should have a guy and a girl, I think, just because it's like,
I think they should too. I don't like that. It's like they apparently there's going to be prizes for the top 3. So in theory, all 3 dudes could finish and then not one girl gets a prize. I don't like that, but it is what it is. They're giving them opportunities.
100%.
As long as Nerys places, I'll be pretty happy. She deserves to be in the top 3 at this friggin' point.
I can't believe how good she is. Frankly, I hate to say I'm shocked, but I'm shocked. I didn't.
People, you know what? I've been saying this for years that I think Nerys is a good competitor. Everyone's always saying that she's not. And I'm like, I liked it from this whole season. I've been saying it. Everyone's like, in the comments, like, Nerys isn't that good, Dan. You just like her because she's hot. I'm like, well, single Dan probably would like that because she's hot.
I've seen Holton Davy.
I was like, oh my.
Right? He's like,
still allowed to find her.
To say I like her because she's hot. As if you're like some 21-year-old frat bro, as if like that's all you see. Like, oh, she's hot. So he's so one-dimensional. But yeah, no, this is an amazing place for her to shine. Because she is good, but it does play to her skill set as well. Like we've seen, she's not the best swimmer, you know. So like in terms of strength and weaknesses, like certain challenges cater to certain people.
And she's only been in one other. Like we don't know. I'm not saying I'm surprised because I thought she sucked ass or anything, but like I've never seen her except in dating shows, really. So
and it's great because she's turning it on at the right time, you know. Like for example, I'm so glad that she's the one going in that we're rooting for because she's coming out. For example, like let's just say if it was like Mariah, who we loved and we were rooting for, like she's not coming out of these eliminations, you know what I mean? Which is like another reason to be annoyed that she's in such a safety seat, because it's like, why are you so safe?
But like honestly, like
you
any of
decide?
those girls, what
You
about
haven't done
Colleen?
anything.
You think Colleen's making it out of these eliminations either?
Right.
Like, no, she's not. So it's like just more power to Nerys for making it this far. Let's talk about the daily challenge a little bit real quick, because this was old school challenge to me, right? I loved every second of this. This had everything I wanted in a challenge. Why can't they do more things like this? Why this is not like they're not inventing like the wheel again. Like this was a basic idea. And and it was awesome. It really was a lot of fun to watch. I love that they split them up into winners brackets, losers brackets. Like that made it more exciting. My heart was like, oh my God, whoever falls first is going home. That gave me a great payoff. It was exciting. I was nervous.
But they didn't do that. That's what I didn't get the rules, obviously, because I was like, hi, Olivia, who fell first.
No, different heats. So
that was dumb. It should have just been the first.
No, I loved it.
No, I loved it, Pamela. I love that there was multiple times. I liked it.
Every other one, it was the first to lose. Like, don't lose. Don't be the first, the first whatever loses. And then this time it was like, you lost, but you get another chance. I didn't.
Well, it was one heat to then decide 2 other heats. So I liked that they did it that way. A winner's bracket, a loser's bracket.
I thought Olivia was out.
5 to fall off go into a heat where the first person to fall off loses. I like it. It ups the stakes.
Fine.
And it adds more people in the mix. Like if you lost one person right away, would kind of, I get what you're saying. You're like, okay, then that person loses, but it doesn't make it as like edgy or see like, oh, what's going to happen next? Is it going to be something else? Like if Olivia goes down, it was all girls in the loser bracket except for Emmanuel. Imagine then they go to the losers heat and then Emmanuel loses, like if there's mixing it up in there, that there's a potential for a lot of other things to happen.
You're right. It was better TV also because I guess each time they did it in heat, so we didn't know who lost. Like when there was the loser of each thing, we didn't know, although they were the ultimate loser, quote unquote, like the person who fell the fastest, I feel like Olivia fell the firstest, so like whatever, she's the ultimate loser. So I feel like it wasn't entirely fair, but at least TV wise, it was better to not know until the end, to have it.
I was kind of hoping that wheel would kind of go back and forth. It just I didn't realize it only went in one direction. I was hoping it would go like back and forth each way and make them really
make a strong person fuck with it, like
have to really hold up their body weight and stuff, like on that rope. Like that to me is like, could you have just like put your feet on the bottom like hole and just like kind of held you there with your feet on? Because there was like different they made balls on it, so in theory if you could get your feet up in there, but it is what it is.
You had to have your feet on the thing, he said, or like not.
Well, no, because they were like lifting their body weight up and just gliding for a while.
A few of them were just hanging. Some of them tried to do just upper body strength. Like Corey on the first round was just hanging. Michelle in the losers bracket, which is like, Michelle, try to get your footing again because your arms are like a pound each. Like
we have to shout out to Michelle, who was like, I play for the people at home. Even though I looked like I'm not strong, like as though she was handicapped and like had no, she's like, so I do it to show that no matter what you look like, you can win. I was like, Michelle, shut up. Boo-hoo. She said, like in her confessional, she said, I play for the people at home because no matter what you look like, and she showed like that she doesn't have muscles, you can win. And it was said like, no matter what, like you can overcome
like what disability.
Yes, exactly. I'm doing this to show the people at home
you can do it too.
Even if you look like me, Michelle, you too can be. It's like, well, just go lift some weights, Michelle. You're not like, get stronger. You lost. You're playing people at home. We lost then with you.
Also, you didn't win. Like, so you didn't show anybody anything. You showed everybody that they need.
Funny. You guys have to see it. Michelle's, I'll find her. I'm playing for the people at home because no matter what you look like, you can do it. It's like,
yeah, I missed that
talking about, Michelle.
And that's hysterical because
it is hysterical.
If you're showing the people that look like you that they need to sign up for the gym and
I'm like showing the people that look like you to like go take a page out of Tori's book and like on Cara Maria's and go lift some weights because you lost.
I mean, I wrote down, bye, Michelle, stop inviting her back. That's what I wrote, like, personally. So I'm happy she's gone.
Michelle.
I just don't, she just doesn't bring anything to the table for me. She doesn't do nothing for me. So happy she's gone.
I'm happy she's gone, but she does understand the assignment. I mean, I think she's at least, if she wasn't there this seat, I did feel like it would have been Jay. It brings only badness. Michelle, I think at least is like funny and schemy. I don't know. I don't like her, but at least I do think she brings something to the table.
Yeah.
I
There's
love
some
the
stuff
challenge.
online that said that she broke some ribs when she fell. Michelle.
Ooh,
Well, it's a
Supposedly.
big ball.
Yeah.
She's like a tiny person. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see that
And then
happening.
supposedly, possibly that Colleen got a concussion from when she fell. So, but like they didn't discuss any of that stuff. I mean, this all could be a lie, but I just saw it on social media. So they also said Olivia popped her implant, supposedly. But I'm like,
Really?
They said about
how did she
Brandon's
go to an elimination then and perform if she had a popped implant
She
that whole
didn't
time?
pop her implant. They
I don't believe
pop,
that for a
first of all.
second because she
They
did.
don't
Yeah.
pop. Like she's not in a movie.
Well, no, you can rupture one or something like that, though, supposedly. I've never had implants, so I wouldn't know personally, but
I don't know either, but I don't think they like pop. Like it's not a water balloon in your
I think
boob.
it pop inside. I'm pretty sure it could.
Fortunately, breast implant ruptures don't occur very often.
Oh. But they occur.
Happen, according to cosmetic surgery in Reno.com.
I mean,
Okay. It only happens in about 15% of cases.
yeah, I think the
But
material
it can rupture.
it's not a balloon though. Like it's not that flimsy. Like
Yeah, but Olivia's not gonna say it ruptured my implant. She's gonna say it popped.
Well, remember what's her name when the blonde girl?
Siobhan. That happened.
Like really thought she did. She was like terrified when she.
No, I'm pretty sure it really did pop.
No, it didn't really. Wound up that it didn't really happen, but she thought it did. But that was like also almost 20 years ago. Like I think they'd make them a better.
That's when they really did just put balloons in, and
right, like honestly, they kind of did. It was like in the olden days when they would show
put a water balloon
this cup size or this cup size, and it was like plastic baggie with.
Yeah. But Berna wins this challenge like in flying colors. She looked really good. She was truly just jogging, tiptoeing on that hamster wheel. It seemed like that was the way to do it. Like your arm strength was basically it didn't need to play a role in the
just for balance a little bit.
Just got your footing correct. Yeah. And for everybody who's trying to rely on upper body strength, it didn't work for them. And it's funny because James was like the second runner up, and he has such this strong upper body. Although that could just be popcorn muscles, right? We don't really even know for sure with him. He barely did anything, but he's running too. So it's the whole running strategy that went really well. And good for Berna. Like she outlasted him.
Good for Berna.
As annoying as she can be, she won. Well,
she deserved the win. She really
deserved.
We gotta give credit where credit's due.
But and it's just crazy to think like. Well, I was going to say, wouldn't the episode have been so different if James won? And, think about it. He went from almost winning to going home. But now that I have another second, it's like, probably wouldn't have been. It still was all of Jay's little domino effect. Like, it would have just been the same outcome.
No, because Berna won, she had more of a say. It would have been if James won, it would have been James, Mariah, Jay, Nerys, Olivia.
Yeah, Nerys probably could have gotten saved.
Yeah, Nerys, because they swayed Jay to not. Jay was going to vote for Nerys, but James, weren't you guys impressed with his stamina? Like I thought James
I didn't realize he had that much.
Yeah, we thought he had no endurance. So
maybe he was in that treadmill because remember when was he in that elimination? Like week 2, and it's been 17 weeks. So he's had 15 weeks to get his endurance up because that's how long they've been in this house. You could have entered this house out of shape and at this point now be a completely different athlete because that's how this season has been going on.
I'd like to see that someone just transformed during during the season.
I think it came down to I think it came down to technique as well. I think James and Berna figured it out. All I got to do is lightly run on this thing. I don't need to be. Corey was like swinging on it like a Tarzan swing with his feet all over the place. So
yeah,
I think Berna
did do a good job. And it's funny because I almost don't want to, I crossed out annoying because I feel like it's a mean word and wrote irritating, but it is funny how just like, it's not even her fault. I almost feel bad. Berna's just super irritating. It's like, Michelle, pick up your feet. I was like, oh, Berna, shut up. Like,
no, so the thing is, I always liked Berna. And but there are certain things that she does that are her fault. At first I thought she was just getting picked on, and there's like a cultural barrier and there's a difference, and she's just more blunt and upfront, and maybe it was rubbing people wrong. And I still think that stands a bit, but at the
I
same
agree.
time, we're not in the house, and when there's smoke, there's a little bit, there's got to be some fire. And like when the entire, pretty much the whole house has been like annoyed at you the whole time, there must be some feature that you have that is rubbing everybody the wrong way. But the reason I'm saying like she obviously has a role in it is that we see tonight when she's talking with Jay, she says she doesn't want Nerys to be saved because Nerys swears at her. And then she immediately says to Jay, like she says the F word to Jay, like, Jay, effing stop it, or no, F you, Jay, something like that. And it's like, but weren't you just mad at Nerys for cursing at you? And now you're cursing at the person who you want to do something for you and who's in your alliance. So it's like, you're doing the same thing. And she's kind of been like yelling and blunt to people the entire season. So for her to hate Nerys for it, it's kind of like, but aren't you doing it too? So I don't know. There's,
And it's like Nerys and Michelle, she definitely painted an exaggerated picture of the all, like that was their plan all along. Haha, Jay, they were always going to fuck you over. It's like, it was a conversation that happened last night. Like, let's not, Nerys is the bad guy now she definitely twisted that. She's manipulative. I mean, not like she's an innocent victim. I just mean a lot of it is just are the things where she's just kind of annoying and it's not her fault. And I feel bad for her because she might not come across the way she wants to all the time. But at the same time, I agree. And what made me not hate Olivia was Olivia's like, oh God, I hope Berna doesn't win, because then it's going to be like a speech about why she's picking.
That was funny. That was
and then,
funny.
Olivia was funny. Olivia made me laugh.
I think like here's the issue with a lot of the cast that's left is Berna. She's a loose cannon. She's annoying. She's a pain in the ass. Then you got Colleen, who is so boring. Emmanuel, when they try to show shots him, he's boring. That's 3 major players in the finals. What? There's only 7 people left, and almost half of them bring nothing to the table. Like that sucks. And like
everyone left is garbage except Nerys. Like I don't care about any of them except Nerys.
Well, no, right, agree.
The only thing I'll say about Colleen and Berna is they somehow managed to end up making enough friendships in the house that have gotten them this far, because it was not looking good for them for a long time. They were very on the outside. They were rogue. They weren't really attached to anybody, and somehow they finagled their way into now.
But here's the issue though. Did Berna and Colleen, did they get thrown down there at all? Like, did they get to the final 2?
Colleen.
I think Colleen did.
They never wound up going in though. I don't think Colleen.
Well, that's my point. Exactly. The format of this season allowed them to have a very slim chance of actually having to go down there. Because even when Colleen was picked, then she gets down there, she still has a 50-50 shot. In fact, I think it's actually better than that, because if the champion or the whatever you wanted, the mercenary, pulls the other thing, they can choose anybody from up above. So that's why Colleen and maybe a Berna even were able to last so long in this game, because the chances of really having to go in there against the vet were pretty damn slim every week.
And then they got to sort of fly under the radar, because as soon as Nerys started dating Horacio, or whatever we're going to call it, it became Horacio versus Jay. Honestly, it just became that versus that, and whoever was falling in line with Kyland and Horacio, whoever was with Jay, that was the enemies. And like Berna and Colleen sort of had no place in that and didn't really.
Yeah, it's interesting that like if Nerys and Horacio never got together, like Nerys is never leaving Jay's side, right? Like, so that whole dynamic is never even going to happen with the other side of the house. It's interesting.
The thing is, Nerys still technically never did leave Jay's side. Like, she never did anything against Jay. And what she said to Colleen was she's unsure if Jay will actually fight for her. She expressed to Colleen that she's scared that the person that she's aligned with doesn't actually have her back.
Yeah, and Colleen twisted that bullshit too.
Colleen twisted it into like Nerys is rallying people to vote for you. So it's frustrating that she never actually turned on Jay, but she happened to have this showmance with Horacio that made her want to also save Horacio, which pissed Jay off because he wasn't I don't know. I guess Jay could say like he's not necessarily in the alliance the way that Jay and Nerys were, but let's just state plain and simple, Jay, it's because you don't want to run against Horacio in the final. And now you're using like Nerys's relationship with Horacio as like a Nerys, like you're a backstabber, you're not loyal, you're not my friend. But it's like, no, you just don't want to run a final with the person that she's falling in love with. So now you're like mad at her.
I do think he's also definitely like personally upset about her and Horacio. The way, again, that whole like, we're gonna make her pick is like, that's not just, I don't want to run against Horacio. That's, I want to punish Nerys. Like, it's very weird.
So weird.
Very weird. But Nerys, oh, I'm just so glad that it got brought up in last night's episode that Colleen flip-flopping is like almost I guess there's no point and things are going to go the way they go, but Colleen could have changed the whole course of things then. And she decided to go Team J at the last minute when, again, Nerys was just having a conversation with her, but I'm so glad that they showed that Nerys was right. She's like, you were the one that came to me, like that you said Kylan has the numbers. You're the one. I've been so mad at Colleen since that episode because she had the power to change it with her decision that night and change the numbers and the dynamic. And she didn't.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Pam. But at the same time, though, if Colleen switches sides, guess what? She's in the same position with either team. No one's going to put her like higher up in their team. Like she's always to be bottom rung, like no matter what, I guess. So
sure, but it could have.
Colleen is getting used in both ways. She's getting used for a quick name to throw into elimination. That's how she was used previously in the season. And now she's getting used as somebody to save because she's going to be easy to beat in the final. So it's just like Colleen is just literally getting used no matter what.
And there is no way Colleen wins this final. There's just no way. She's not a good competitor. I'm not even sure what show she was on before this. I don't know if she was on an actual, like, was it a dating show or was it an actual?
Mole. I think that's like a.
So it's more of a like it's a politicking type thing with
I've never seen it, but it sounds she was secretly.
My point is like
and manipulate, and I love that she's like, she is manipulated. It's like, no, you are like.
Yeah, I think we got. I mean, season 40. Let's see what they do with it. I really hope that they give us something we can digest a little bit better. But I mean, honestly, these last couple episodes have been somewhat exciting. Like they're kind of fun to watch, So I've been enjoying
everybody them. Likes to root for and root against somebody. And now we have somebody to root for and very clearly.
Nerys has definitely been doing her thing. God, if Olivia just picked her in the other episode, the house would have got swung. And then we'd have possibly Horacio and Kylan and Nerys to root for going into a final. And then you think, wow, I wonder if all three of them can get the top 3 positions. Like it just gives me so much more. Now I can only like hope that one person gets that places. Then I have to have 2 other people that get in there that I'm like, you're a challenge champion possibly. Like God,
ew. Right.
Like, what if for some crazy reason everything went the way of Colleen and now I have to call her a challenge champion? I'm sorry. She's Casey 2.0. They're not a challenge champion. I'm not buying it. It's bullshit. In fact, what's sad is like Casey, if she was still in the game, like she'd be a far more person. Not that I want to root for her, but more deserving. She'd be more deserving of the title of challenge champion over any of these.
Casey is good at things. Like
that's my point. That's my point. If Colleen can pull this off, she's not even
Mariah wins. What if Mariah wins?
It's just
Mariah wins it all.
It would be, you know what? Then it would show that she's a competitor because I'm kind of in the same thing with Mariah. It's like I liked her in the beginning and last season, but hasn't been doing absolutely anything at all to show that she's actually a competitor. She looks strong because she works out and goes to the gym, but like
they showed her badonkadonk. They showed her badonkadonk tonight. That was interesting.
She does have a fantastic that bod though. Like, how do you even I don't even get it. But she has a great body. And I like her and James too. Like they really do seem. I do. Like
I don't think they didn't really show enough for me to give a crap about it.
I do. I like that. Like after I was like, are James and Mariah? And apparently there's a James and Mariah on Love Island. So I was like, yeah, James and Mariah.
Oh, that's funny.
And apparently they're like, they're like, it's really hard and farm. We're like young and.
No, it annoys me because why is like. if Mariah and Nerys were in the same alliance to begin with, and wasn't Horacio in that same alliance in the very beginning?
Everybody was in that alliance.
I know, sure, but James wasn't. So why does James now get this highest of high pedestals of safety because of Mariah, and Nerys can't save a single fucking person in this game? And that's what's so annoying about Jay, is because Jay even says to Nerys tonight, I threw all of your friends down in this argument of like, who's really true to who, which is kind of like, well, bro, that's first off, you're making yourself look really bad against somebody who if you're trying to have a who's been loyal the whole time debate, that's a strike against you, but you're using it for you. But anyway, you're saying, I threw all of your friends down. And Nerys is saying, yeah, and I was still true to you. Like, Nerys can't have a single friend in this game. Jay's been trying to get rid of all of them, but God forbid Nerys even like maybe question or even side eye one of Jay's friends. Yeah. And
it's all, like, did you see the picture online? Did you see the picture online of Jay and Michelle? And and someone made the picture of them, and it's them puppeteering everybody else on the cast.
No.
And then you can't, but then there's no James. You're like, where's James at? But then if you look at Mariah, there's another puppet going down, and just James is by himself all the way at the bottom. So it's like, it's so good. You got to find it.
James was like, I'm not interested in that. I'll let Mariah do it.
He does admit it. He does admit that he wants nothing to do with the political side of things. So whatever.
And he got pretty far just having a girl that was,
you know, what is sad is that nobody's even trying to do politics except for Jay and Michelle. Like, maybe that's why everybody's just falling in line with them. Like, Corey kind of.
Corey tried.
How about Kylan? How about Kylan? I thought Kylan tried to politic the whole house to sway.
Kylan and Nerys, you know, like Nerys is now the only one to like call Jay out and do what she needs to do as well. And I mean, there was this moment of like Colleen, you know, and now Colleen and Berna tonight twisting things so that Jay could do what they wanted. But, you know, you have so many people like James and Emmanuel and Ed and all of these people who've just been standing idly by, not even giving a half of an effort to even think politically at all, you know, like.
Yeah. Jay must really say some stuff to people off camera, because I was like, Olivia, you're mental. Olivia talks to Jay and then is like, well, I feel pretty good about me and Nerys going to the final now because Jay is going to be picked. And I'm like, why does anyone, first of all, what? And second of all, why would you try? Like, you think Berna, I'm like, Berna won, remember? Berna's going to pick.
It always, you're right. It keeps coming back to Jay. Even on Berna's win day, all things lead back to Jay.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is everyone obsessed with it?
I don't know.
Is he gaslighting the whole house into thinking like, we must please Jay? Like, he's been hypnotizing everybody.
Is he a vampire? You know, they glamour you like, you will take off your clothes now. And
I wonder if he just like he has this way of like guilt tripping people and making people think that like they owe him something. I don't know.
I don't know. It's honestly, it's weird because, again, even after what Jay did to Nerys the first time he made her choose when she picked the first time Kylan and Horacio went to the elimination thing, she came back and like they were kind of cool. And I was like, why aren't you? I guess she didn't realize it was orchestrated by him and that he planned it down to the like to her having to be.
No, Pam, you're so right, because that brought up a point. Like, before this whole explosion happened with Jay and Nerys tonight, I was kind of surprised that it was even still happening. I was like, how are you guys even still somewhat trustworthy of each other? I thought this whole like alliance was deaded like 3 episodes ago. Like, Nerys, why would you even expect Jay to save you anymore? Like, I don't know. I thought it was very clear that like you two are not really that close anymore or working together anymore.
And can you imagine doing that to your like in real life best friend? Like, they're gonna have to choose. Like, that in and of itself, it's like, how can, I don't know. To make it a positive, I like when we have just, and everyone can agree.
Yeah.
Nerys rules and everyone else drools. Like,
yeah.
I like when the whole world, it's like she's been wronged. She is now the only deserving one. So I like that.
I think the challenge producers are so grateful that she is in this final and that there's someone to root for, because I'm not sure if these producers think that anybody's rooting for anybody else besides Nerys, they're out of their damn mind. Who cares if Mariah wins? Who cares if Jay wins? You don't care about these people.
I keep
There's no
forgetting
way.
Corey is there until they show
You know, we have people that we had over 3,000 views of our last episode, which was actually did really well for us, and like over 100 comments, over 100 likes. So people are watching us. Who the hell are y'all rooting for that are listening to this right now? Like, is it Nerys or Bust, or is there somebody else that you're actually rooting for? Please tell us in the comment section, because I can't imagine it being anybody else besides Nerys. And give us the why too. I want to know why, if it's not Nerys, why you're rooting for Jay. Yeah.
I don't
Anyway,
think anybody's rooting for Jay. Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't assume. Maybe they are. Then state your best case.
there's got to be someone out. There's someone out there. Yeah.
If you're rooting for somebody other than Nerys, I truly would love to hear it.
Yeah.
And that's
Like,
so like passive aggressive.
I want Mariah to win.
But she's hot.
Right.
But something else too about this season is that all of these relationships are just not anything we can believe or trust in, and I wish producers would start trimming this out, because it's making it all very hard to believe and convoluted for us, is that everybody has like 6 number ones, and you can't have 6 number ones. That's one. That's your number 1, your number 2, your number 3, your number 4, your number 5, your number 6. Because if I have to hear every episode, somebody has a different number 1. Like Olivia's saying, Jay and Nerys came into this game as number 1s. And it's like, but I thought
Michelle and Jay were right. It's like,
right. First off, Michelle and Jay, I thought, were number 1s. And then also Jay revealed that Asaf was his number 1. And then Emmanuel was his number 1. And then Nerys, when she saved Olivia, said, there's only one person who I've been number 1s with this entire game. And it was Olivia. So it's like, how do you guys have so many number 1s? Like, I can't believe any of these friendships or relationships, because it's like, I don't know. You're putting them all. You're
so right. Number 1 is the new, literally. Like, literally, I could stick this in my eye. No, not literally. Figuratively, I could stick this in my eye. I'm so mad. Literally, right? Number 1 means what? Just
one singular one person.
Right.
So pick it. If that's Olivia, then it's Olivia. If it's Jay, then it's Jay. It can't be both of them. If it's Michelle, it's Michelle. If it's Emmanuel, you can't have both. Like,
1 is 1.
So
one is 1.
Ladies, we're under
you. If you refer to them as another ally or someone else you're working with, you can obviously have multiple allies, but they can't be your number 1s.
Right. You're in my
ladies,
thing.
I want you to pick your number 2s and 3s then, of who you think's going to win this thing, or who you want to win, because it's probably next week. Besides Nerys, who's your 2 and 3? Because there's 3 spots apparently for the win here. Who's left? You want there's Mariah, Berna. It's gonna keep getting worse. Corey, Jay, Colleen. Oh my God, Colleen's in the final. Oh my God, she's gonna be so bad. Nerys, and we're missing one, right? There's 7.
Berna, did you say Berna?
I said Berna.
Oh,
I haven't written down. I haven't written down. No, I did it all then. Berna, Corey,
said
Colleen.
Everybody.
Corey, Colleen.
Shottiest group of finalists I feel like we've ever had. Like, I couldn't give. It's like a whole group of Casey's and Josh and Fessies, and then like Nerys. So it's like I'll be furious if anyone but Nerys wins. I want Nerys to come in first, second, and third. I mean, I don't hate Mariah, so I guess Mariah could come in something.
You know what's sad is, like, I feel as though it could be Jay, because he's done pretty well in the daily challenges.
Oh yeah.
And
all the 3 guys that are left, I think, are better than the girls that are left. So like, I think Corey could be okay. I think Corey would do all right.
Yeah.
Jay is good at puzzles though and stuff too, which puts him, I feel like all the guys, like Emmanuel is good endurance, which is great, but like,
I mean,
I don't know.
Any of the guys have a chance, and then the only reason I'm going to put Nerys up there is because I want it so badly for her. So,
and I think she has a good chance because she does have endurance and she's good at puzzles. And honestly, this is a final. It's not a daily challenge. It's not an elimination. It's a final. And finals, literally in the past, like 4 seasons, have been running and doing puzzles.
Yeah, I mean,
like riding a bike. You know,
I think
there's swimming, she
Colleen,
might be screwed. There's definitely a big potential for there to be some swimming aspect that could screw her. But other than that, it's running and puzzles. So she might
yeah.
have a good.
There will be swimming because in each of these pre-final finals, there's almost always they've involved the water. Like they have a contract with the water, with the sea to be featured. I hope Nerys wins, and I guess I would say Mariah.
Really?
I don't hate her. Everybody I like hate.
It's because you think she's hot.
She is hot, but I also don't dislike her. Like she hasn't pissed me off or anything.
She's just done absolutely nothing, not a damn thing.
What is Colleen, Corey, Emmanuel, or Berna? I mean, look at the options.
Yeah.
At least Mariah, like, I don't know.
It's okay.
Pam, I might have to agree with you on that because I think
Yeah,
Mariah, I think Mariah is a good person. She seems like she would be nice. So if that's what it says, no, Jenna, this is how sad it is. This is what I have to base off it at this point. Like I think Emmanuel's a dope. I think Colleen, I don't think she can, fight her way out of a paper bag. I mean, she's not. Colleen's getting last place. This girl has not performed at all this season. There's no way this girl does anything in this final. Berna, I guess would be okay, but I don't like her.
Even Corey, I guess it would have to be my begrudging number 3 spot just because he's my least.
Put Corey in there at least. Yeah, I'm all right with that.
I don't like Corey either, but I like him more than I like Jay or Colleen. I don't hate Emmanuel either. Like, I guess Emmanuel or Corey for the number 3. I'm fine if it's a low. He didn't do a lot, and I got mad at him last night for.
I'm mad at him from last night a lot, and he hasn't done anything all season besides talk about his mother. Huh?
Mother.
Yes, I know. I'm over it. Don't care. All right. Anyways, final thoughts. We can wrap this thing up here.
Jay is a psycho. TJ hates Jay. TJ was like, what's going on, man? When Jay picks Mariah, TJ's like, last week you were bawling your eyes out about Nerys going in. What's going on?
Because Jay is just like putting us through whiplash, and it's just like doesn't have like a firm stance to stand on. But like he said, I don't know, but everything he says, I feel like he sounds as if it's like so black or white. Like what he's saying is the cold hard truth, everybody. But meanwhile, he'll also just like flip on a dime and do whatever the hell he wants. So it just, I don't know, man.
I need a compilation of Jay bitching out. I'm gonna have to find that or put it together myself. Like, thanks a lot. They asked me where my flight was. Like, he's such a baby and a jerk. And a mean.
Yeah.
They could put something together for the reunion, I'm sure, but they won't.
I'll be honest, like I still want to see who wins. And again, like we said, we have somebody we're rooting for and somebody we're rooting against. But I'm honestly just like thinking about this final, like we've already talked about, is just like such a just a sigh of annoyance of like who's competing in it.
Yeah.
And it makes you not really even excited to.
It's depressing.
And that's so true, Jenna, what you just said, because like usually in this episode, we're like talking like, oh, top 3, we want top 3, we think we'll win. And we're all just like, all right, it's Christmas Eve and I didn't get any presents on Christmas Day. I know I'm not getting any gifts. So possibly one gift if Nerys wins, but yeah. We'll see.
Putting all the stake in that, like we're gonna get a car with a big bow on it tomorrow. Otherwise, it's like nothing.
Or
like
it's cold, right? Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Nothing there.
My God. Okay. We'll see you all next week for episode 18. Maybe it's the entire final. Maybe it's part 1 of the final. We don't know, but it could be the whole final. An hour and a half episode. That's enough to put a whole final together, but whatever. We'll see. And then we'll get a reunion. So.
Yeah.
Golly.
I can't wait for the reunion. I mean,
if it's reunions haven't been good in like 4 seasons though. Like they need to get good again.
I feel like it might be because again, Nerys kind of feels like an old school reality TV person where seems like she just is real and honest, and she's not like these people they're hiding behind. I don't know. They're just like influencers first, reality TV second. Like they want to have some sort of like brand or something.
Branding first. Yeah.
They're trying so hard to be one thing that then they're just not being honest about anything. You know what I mean?
But they need this platform though for people to care that like we wouldn't care about Mariah on social media unless she was on a show or something. Like
I still don't care, but don't they know that we care more? I mean, and you know, she's hot, like, but I still am not gonna watch her social media.
No, I would never follow Mariah on social media. No, thanks. I'm good.
No, but Nerys now sign me up. Like that's where it's like we want.
She's like a real person.
Don't try and be, you know, everything to everyone. It's boring.
Yeah, and I feel like we're almost fighting so hard to like look good on TV that it's working completely against them.
Totally. Yeah, and what happens on every reality show I watch when the people are like aware that it always backfires. It's like the people that you actually care about and invest in and want to follow are always the people that are genuine, whether they're
being more real. And Nerys is being real too. Yeah,
like
it's
Birdie
great
on Traders. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, even if you're just whatever, like Nerys, exactly, sincere, we can smell it now. It's just like, don't give us this BS. Jay.
One for the books.
One for the books. All right, we'll see y'all next week, episode 18. Also my lucky number because I was born on August 18th, so it should be a great episode.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, we'll see y'all then. Bye.
Bye.